Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum teachers. Hope you are doing well. So this is the last video of the English language which you are teaching in school at school level. It is a language, not a subject, as a science, social and Islamiyat. So it's in the same way that you are teaching Urdu language, the English language, you will be using the same methodology for the English as well. In early stages, mostly the teaching, there are four main competencies: listening, speaking, reading and writing. A teacher, that our main purpose is to create command in those competencies, in those four competencies throughout the schooling year. In the beginning years, in the foundation years, the emphasis is on observing. The child is observing things. Then he should listen to that particular, the name or a word for that thing or a sentence, and then later on he or she speaks. Same a child when she is learning a mother language at home at the age of 2, so the same pattern is there. So when you are as English and Urdu for the most of us are foreign language, external language, so the teaching should, the pattern should be the same as the mother language the child learn at home. So the child will observe, will listen, and then will speak those things, those words or sentences. In later stages, a teacher should create a critical thinking in the language development, and then reading and writing, and through many different exercises, many different activities, child will be able to have competencies in reading and writing, and this will create critical thinking skills as well. Again, like in majority of the schools, we have seen that the teachers, they are mostly translating into Urdu, which is a wrong way to learn a language. You can learn a language in that language, in direct methodology. You should use it. So we will come to the methodologies, few methodologies which are very good to use it when you are teaching English in primary grades as well as in the upper classes. So the four competencies, let's talk about the four competencies. The oral skills, which includes listening and speaking, and as I discussed earlier, that from the beginning, foundation stage, a child observe and then listen to what a teacher says, and then try to speak that word or sentence. So that is the base. Even if a child is studying in the higher grades, that is the base. First, you cannot reach to the reading, writing until you cross this listening and speaking process. That is to have a standard pronunciation, where is the intonation and effective use of the words when a child is speaking. So all those skills he can get it through listening and speaking. And in the early stages, like you show and tell, or you recite something, thought of the day, tongue twister, a story and a speech or report or similar activities, it will benefit the students to have competencies in listening and speaking. And in reading skills, as there are many varieties of reading, many types of reading. So in reading, the strategies should be either from the textbook or from the other any journal or any other. You can make that competencies. You can develop that competencies in the student. So any textual aid, if there is a in the textbook, that is okay, in the text there is a, like in blurbs, footnotes, graphs, figures, table of contents. So reading that one will create a great way to read further and actually get the understanding of the what is inside in that textual form. And as long as the child grows grade wise further, so the reading strategy as like skimming, scanning, and inferring, predicting, which is a high grade strategy, and summarizing things, a journal story, and then you a child summarizing the thing. So let's talk about the types of the reading. There is a reading a child read aloud with a high voice, and that is just for the development of their pronunciation, intonation, fluency, stress where the stress is required in the word. So reading aloud it gives to a student better to be very good in pronunciation, and as soon the main thing is pronunciation. If a child comes and get a very good grip on pronunciation, then he can read every textual very fluently. So that fluency in reading will come through read aloud, and guided reading, where there is a guided reading type. Teacher must for the critical reading and thinking, encourage students. For example, there is a whole lesson, teacher made it in a part and gave it to the individual students or group of students, and the teacher guide each individual students over where the students is facing a difficulty, whether it is in pronunciation, whether it is in understanding. And then if they are in the same guided reading, question arises, and then it is explained to the students. And that's also good for reading purpose, like if you give storybooks or any kind of which is for pleasure or individual reading, the students, different kind of books, short books, story books, that also develop the competency of reading. And there is a silent reading, which we comprehension reading. There is a long text, and if you see, there are a question at the end of the text, which is related to that story, that theme topic, which is presented. So comprehension, when the child gets understanding of that whole text, then there are questions, and those questions a child can solve it. But that reading is required silent reading. It's not like it's just for understanding the idea what is in the text, and then coming to the answers. Now the fourth is writing skills, and it is writing, it's practice. More a child write, so the fluency in that writing will come, and it will build their skills in writing. So mostly when we talk about writing, our teacher feels some teachers, they are just thinking of the exact or writing the word in a same manner, or a very good writing something. No, writing, yes, that is, you can say handwriting or very good writing, you can say it. But writing skill is that, for example, a story, a topic is taught to students and they learn it, and now they can summarize it by their own. They can write it. Or for example, students went on trip, and then they come back, and then they start writing a story or a report on that trip. So that is actually called writing. So it depend, it grade wise the teacher gives, uh, 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 the what is called, grade wise it gives the competency level. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting that word which is used for that one. But however, the grade wise, like for example, grade one students and grade five, and there is a difference between grade one and grade five. Maybe grade five students can write on a can write a report or summarize something, but maybe grade one students cannot. But a grade one students can write something on his her a daily activity that is happen in a very simple sentences, one two three four sentences, he or she can write it. So that is writing skill, and these are four skills the teacher has to go through, whether it is in everyday lesson planning. You have to add all those skills that our main focus is to develop those four skills. So we will come on instructional strategies or the teaching methodologies. First thing is, let me talk about, there are, for example, notebooks you are checking our teacher is writing. So there are some symbols or sign, like words left out. So you just or do not understand, a teacher do not understand, so a question mark, wrong word, ww, spelling error, sp, you write it. So it means it's so the child will learn, oh, here I made some a mistake. So then the child will do again, will consult the dictionary. I will check in the textbook what is the wrong, and then by this way he will memorize the exact spelling. So when you are teaching English language, all those four aspects, it should be in your mind that you are developing those four competencies. Uh, of course, in English, uh, beside listening and speaking, a child can speak very good sentences in early stages, but if you ask about the structure of the sentences grammatically, maybe she is not able to do it. So but of course, for the further in the higher grades, when the things comes to critical thinking, writing, you are reading very long essays, and then you are answering those questions and everything, or and then you are writing, or even if you are going to talk on those topics, and as well, if you are the same doing in science, social studies, or Islamic studies, if it is in English, if you are doing any kind of task work there, you have to be good in English grammar, English structure. That is must. So whenever a teacher is teaching a text, a lesson, so in those, the teacher should emphasize on the grammatical structure, how it is used, what is used, what is this, what is that. For example, this is a in grade one, okay, this is sentence, where is the action word, this is the action word, verb. So this way, this is called, you are giving input. A teacher is giving input. Teacher is giving input. So this way, their competencies in the grammar, in the structure of the sentences will build up, and later on in the writing, in the reading, it will help a lot. Teachers should make discussions, group discussions, and it helps students to talk to each other. Listening and speaking power competencies increases by group discussions if they sit together and then they talk on any topic or any theme. So by this, even for example, you made a group, and one child is reading and the other is listening, or for example there is something, or for example one child read a sentence from a book and the other is just copying it verbally. So that listening and speaking power will build up in the discussion. Role play, as we discuss in other subject, here also a role play teaching methodology, and mostly it happens after post reading. Like in English, when you are teaching, there is a one pre-reading strategy before there is a lesson text, and before you are going into the lesson, uh, either verbally, either in writing, either in presentation or any kind of. So the students, they start thinking on those picture, what are these, and because it is related to that one. So before actually that text, that essay, that story, a child is going to read it, to study it. So before they do it, uh, discussion or pre-reading for that one. And same is post reading. So in post reading, mostly you can create a role play model. So the same thing, what they learn it, they can now show it in as a role, in a dramatic way. Now we'll come to another like important thing is in English as well as in Urdu. In Urdu and English, the difference is in Urdu we there are letters, and then we combine those letters and we make a word. But here in English we don't combine, and then each word is separate, and then we write it. Okay, and there. So of course we know the sound produced due to vowels, and say there is like we write the zabar zir pesh. By that the sound produced, and here by the vowels. So uh, even in that, in Urdu language as well, uh, the spelling means, for example, Ahmad, Alif, Ha, Mim, Dal, Ahmad. You have to know that Alif, Ha, Mim. But in Urdu, you should also learn that how Ha and Mim to be linked, to be written together. But in English, it is not there. It's easy. So you have just to memorize those. You have just to memorize those letters with the correct pronunciation, and this their spelling vocabulary will be on grade wise, their vocabulary will be increased. So there is a method which say lasa kawak, or in easy, it's very difficult even for me, but what I say, look, say, cover, write and check. Look, look, say, look first to the word, then say, then cover, then write, then check it. For example, as a teacher, I just pronounce a word, and or I just wrote a word on the whiteboard, and then the student look to that word or hear that word, and then the student pronounce it that word as it is, and then the student is given a sheet to write that word. Okay, then and then checking. For example, look, say, cover. It is easy if he is doing it himself individually. So he will look to that text. Okay, this is a word of editing. I said editing. Now I will cover it. I covered it. I can't see it. Now I will write it here. Now I wrote it, then I will check with the whether it is wrong or right. But if it is on the whiteboard, for example, I wrote on whiteboard, the student, they looked it, okay, now I'm standing in front, or I put a hand and they wrote it, then I uh, remove my hand and show it to them, and then they compare it. If it is okay, then it means they learn that word and the spelling of that word. If not, then they have to repeat it one or twice or thrice time. So that methodology is for spelling. Also, the teacher should use a concept map, uh, like in the they create a map of a concept, and then they correlate it. Okay, and then later on, either verbally or in writing, they present that what they made it. Like for example, okay, they made a, like for example, okay, a story, and they are linked on each scenario to other scenario, and later on they either verbally or presented it, or in writing they did it. So they will write like, this is one paragraph, it's a one meaning, there is a one concept, so this is one paragraph, then the second paragraph, and all are linked, and the introduction and the ending sum up. So that is called concept mapping. Also in the uh, cooperative learning, think, pair, share means idea is given, and the students are thinking on that idea, and then they are bringing something, then they pair it with each one, and later on they come and they share it. And also jigsaw reading, expert reading, which is we call reading, and it help uh, research uh, research competency in the students. So that group, that something they have they are given, they studied it, they understood it, and then later on the same group, that they come and they are going to teach to the rest of the class, and so they are expert in that one. That should have been done in inquiry investigation. Same, the inquiry, a questionnaire, then they do and go in real life, and they investigate it, and then they come it with a summarize with a textual form, or a verbal form. Also, you can give a project which mostly related to outside of the school, and then they create a project, they which is hands-on experience, and they learn it very well, and then they can either in writing or in the through presentation they can present it. And presentation, of course, you can present their project, you can present other things that what they have learned it, then they come to present the in presentation, their speaking power, their confidence level, and their listening and speaking of whole class, it develops. So these are some. Of course, you need not whiteboard, there are many sheets you required, many AV many other AV, especially in current period. You need technology to use it. Especially, for example, if I'm teaching English, I'm not a native speaker, so a writing or a verbal or video from the native speaker is further good than me. So if they get the exact pronunciation, maybe as a teacher, I'm not native, my pronunciation is not that much good compared to the actually native speaker. So through those technology, we use it, so that this way the students uh, will be more good in those pronunciation, and then later on when they are writing, even when they are speaking, and they will be maybe few steps further than us, is because of we provided them environment, a good environment to learn the English language. So this was then about English. I don't know I presented well or not. Of course, in front of a camera is very difficult, but if there are people, so you can talk very well. Okay, so I will come up with a short of all those 5 6 subjects which we discussed is English, social science, maths, Islamic, Urdu, and I will give you a short video of that one as well. And further videos are coming, and you have to subscribe to this channel just for the purpose of to get further. If something is good, I'm talking, that will be good for you as well. Thank you very much.